I want to deviate from the program just slightly because at this moment when we're talking about a significant figure in African American history, and we happen to have among us a scholar of African American history who we have corralled into speaking and saying a few words to us, we're going to do so. So Dr. Henry Louis Gates, who's in town to speak at the forum tonight, has agreed to share a few comments with us right
now. Thank you. They tricked me. They tricked me into coming here. My best friend in the world is Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham. She said they were having a big party down here. The governor was going to pass out money or something. And when I show up, I'm looking around and all of a sudden I have to speak. This is such a moving thing, isn't it? Just to be able to watch a family celebrate an ancestor's accomplishments. So much, give it up for Lucy Ann and Brooks family. So much, Governor, what we do is anonymous by definition because we're historians. And very rarely do we get to see the legacy of the historical accomplishments of our ancestors. Evelyn and I edited a project that we're really proud of. It's called the African American National Biography. It consists of 4,080. Thank you. Give it up. Yeah. And it costs $700, Governor. I think you should give a grant to everybody here. But it consists of 4,080 biographies of African Americans. And it was just published on February 4th. And until it was published, the best biographical dictionary of African Americans consisted of 626 entries. And ours has 4,000 entries, including this marvelous ancestor of yours. But we don't get to see their legacy in action. And we don't get to see them honored by a commonwealth, by a state, by a city in the way that you're doing today. It moves me. It moves me deeply. I love Evelyn like life itself. Evelyn even looks like the woman. Look at her. Look like she couldn't even deny her. So much of African American history in colonial times and in the antebellum period, the period before the Civil War, occurred in Virginia. We tend to forget this. Virginia was one of the blackest states in the Union, and not only did it have a huge percentage of the African American slave population, it had a huge percentage of the free Negro population. We tend to forget that, when we read the slave narratives, we think that all the black people who became literate ran away. In fact, most of the Negroes who were freed stayed in the South. In 1860, more than 60% of the free Negro population lived in the states that became the Confederacy and stayed during the Civil War. And no place was their presence more prominent or more deeply rooted than in Virginia. In fact, for some of you might have seen my documentary series on PBS, and I've traced the genealogy and thanks. Well, 3 of the 19 subjects in the 2 series descend from African Americans who were enslaved in Virginia and then became free. Sarah Lawrence Lightfoot, our colleague at Harvard, descends from Negroes who were freed in Charles City County in 1746. Peter Gomes, the law changed here in 1782, and the Society of Friends, as soon as they could, as soon as the law allowed, many members of the Society of Friends freed their ancestors, and one was Peter Gomes's ancestor, the Bailey family, in 1782. And my family is Virginian, except in 1863, the state of West Virginia, seceded from Virginia, so I'm now West Virginia. But 4 branches of my family all came from the town of Williamsport, now West Virginia. 2 were freed by 1776, 1 in 1823, and 1 in 1830, and they all lived in the same little farming town. In fact, I'm a Redman on my father's side, and I'm a Redman on my mother's side, which probably explains my bizarre behavior from time to time. Before I forget, I think we should all give it up for the bells of Friends. Really. And that lady who was leaving the bells, I want to do your DNA because you got some black in you somewhere. You do. That sister was boogieing, Bobby. I said, damn, look at that lady, boy. She must be albino African. Anyway, it's a great honor for me to be here. You know, I'm here because I'm speaking tonight at the Richmond Forum, but this confirms, Congressman, my belief that we can revolutionize the way we teach inner city black and brown children by stressing genealogy, to revolutionize how we teach African American history, and ancestry tracing through DNA to revolutionize how we teach science, because we are losing the race for our people. We know that over almost 50% of the African American children do not graduate from high school, and 69% of all births in the African American community occur out of wedlock. This is not what Martin Luther King died for. And we can blame racism all day long, but we have to step up to the plate and accept responsibility for our own decisions that are undermining our community. And those of us who are educators have to decide that we can step up to the plate, change the way we teach African American history, the way we make it a living, breathing thing, like you are making it a living, breathing thing today. Thank you very much for having me.